Okay, so this will be our first of many times through the cove during the next 3 days. Just want y'all to see the mileage here. You're 9 miles back to Townsend, 29 to Maryville, 25 to Gatlinburg, and for one lady that was on Facebook says she can drive from Cherokee to Cades Cove in 30 minutes. Not possible, 56 miles. Somebody actually said that the other day. She says, I drive in 30 minutes. Like, no, you don't. Not legally, you don't. If you can drive 56 miles in 30 minutes, you're going way too fast across that mountain.
Yes, you are.
So we are going to enter the cove. We talked about this. Many of y'all have asked us to make a video. We are going to make one. We're just obviously, you can record in the national park. You just can't at this time monetize it. So until they get that ridiculous thing overthrown.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, right there's where you buy your parking tags, right here at this parking lot, by the way.
Three credit card machines that you can buy a day parking pass.
Turn that over to the left just a hair. We're going to see the mountains as we come into the cove here. Now out there in the distance, if you remember our hike in June to Gregory Bald, where we went up to see the azaleas, that is Gregory Bald that you're looking at right there. That is the mountain that we hiked 2 months ago. And what a view from the top it is. Just a little bit of information about the parking passes here. There is no entrance fee to Great Smoky Mountains National Park, but you do have to have a parking pass if you're going to be parked in any one spot for 15 minutes or more.
Yep.
If you're just going to stop, take a quick picture, you don't have to worry about it. That does not apply to your campsite that you've registered in, but anything through the cove, if you're going to park and be there longer than 15, you have to have a parking pass.
And if you're going to go to the picnic area,
yes,
you have to have one.
You'd think those would be exempt, but they're not. So
she's chasing those horses.
Anyway, they got some out there chasing the horses. I guess she's rounding them up for the evening. Shaughnessy has asked me to pull off because they're herding the horses down here and she wants to get a picture. So there's a warning, horses may bite or kick. I don't know if they're going to bring them all the way down here or not, but I'm going to show you still a little bit of the cove. This is, yeah, here they come actually. Alright. I didn't know there were that many. I believe that's it.
Go! Go!
I've never seen that done before. So evidently they just have to keep them in a certain fenced-in area overnight. Maybe to protect them from bear. I don't know. Not sure what they're maybe protect them. Whatever. I'm sure it's for their protection. So a couple of things. Sorry. CD we have playing. We love to play this CD when we come through here. This is it's called Sounds of the Great Smoky Mountains. I don't think it's still available in store. You can probably still get it online. Beautiful, relaxing music. I'm not even going to worry about a copyright hit because this video is non-monetized anyway, so not even going to worry about it. Probably will get one. But usually when they do that, they let you use the music. You just can't earn money on it, so that's okay. So let me put this camera right here. Hold on just a second. Okay, so we're still within the first mile of entering in Cades Cove. Just a couple of do's and don'ts if you visit here. First of all, this is one of the most beautiful places in my opinion. We have been from here to California and Minnesota, a lot of pretty places in this country. This is the one I always come back to for solitude and peace and just to marvel at the beauty of creation. You just saw some of that, those horses just running through there with a beautiful mountain backdrop. This is a popular place. The Great Smoky Mountains is by far the most visited national park. Even the one that's in second place, it's not even close. This is by far the most visited national park in the country. And for that to be a fact, it's not really that crowded tonight. We've been through here when it's bumper to bumper.
Oh yeah, especially in the fall.
So people ask, how long does it take to drive through Cades Cove? Well, that depends on when you do it. Like right now, we could drive through it in under an hour. It's a 11-mile loop. Speed limit, I think, is 20.
I think so.
I think the top speed limit is 20, which to me is a little fast to go through here.
In some places, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very too fast.
And believe me, I'm a fast driver, but that's a little fast in my opinion, because there's some curves, there's some hills, and you might miss something at 20 miles an hour. On the other hand, we've also been here when it's going 2 miles an hour, and that's way too slow. So, a couple of do's when you come here. Number one, do enjoy yourself and take your time and see what you want to see. All right. Do use the pull-offs like what we just did when she wants to see the horses. We did not stop in the road. That's
Pull off
also
to the
a
side.
don't. A lot of people don't understand that. There are pull-offs literally in about 90% of the loop road. There's an area. Okay, we're back. Battery went out. So I think what I was saying was, as far as the do's, enjoy yourself, take your time. And obviously, if there's something you want to see, that's why it's here. But that's why you're here. Pull over to the side and take your time there.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. Walk out in the field if you want to. Also, do respect the park. There are rules in place for a reason. Well, that's a don't, but do respect the park. In other words, don't leave your mark here. And take memories home with you, but don't leave anything here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't leave your mark here.
Yeah.
That's another don't.
Yeah, I guess the do's and don'ts kind of overlap. But there are plenty of do's. Take your time, enjoy yourself, find the solitude that you want to find here. Do reflect on the beauty of creation, and do find yourself in awe of the creative power of God. So, you know, those are some do's. Now some don'ts. Like I said, don't leave your mark. In other words, don't be among those that ride on the structures. They have had, it was kind of heartbreaking last year, they have had to install cameras on the historic structures here because of people that come here and ride. Steve plus stuff. Michelle, or Ed was here, and if your name's Steve or Michelle or Ed, I'm not pointing you out, I'm just making things up. I'm just using names that come to mind. Not saying you did that, but just things like that is honestly disrespectful. These are places that people lived, worshipped in, and that worked hard to build, and they're not here to be carved on or written on. So don't do that.
Another big don't is don't park in the middle of the road. If you see wildlife, pull over to the side and then enjoy. So many people will just stop in the road and they're like, I got to see this.
It is, well, and you can see it, but like I say, there's places to pull off. And here's the thing about stopping in the road. It's posted not to do it. It literally says not to do it. So in several places, there's a sign as you come in, and there's a couple more. Do not park in the road. And here's the reason for that, and here's why a lot of people justify it. They say, well, if you're in a hurry, you shouldn't come to the Cove. Listen, it's got nothing to do with being in a hurry. People come here for different reasons, and people are here on different schedules. Some people, like when we hike Gregory Bald, they come here to get to their trailhead early. That's 11.5 mile hike. We had to get started early, so we can't get to the trailhead if people are parking in the road before the trailhead's halfway through. So you don't know why other people are here. Also, maybe they don't have as much time in the area as you are. They'd like to ride through and see this, catch a show back in Pigeon Forge. The thing is, it's consideration for others. It's not, I don't know why somebody else is here or how long they have. So my job is to not impede their vacation, right? Another thing is, medical emergencies. We were here and it was for our pet, our little pet Pierre. That was the day that he first started to begin to have seizures, uncontrollable seizures, and it scared us to death. We were actually over here when it happened. And we knew at one time we thought he had passed away. When you were holding him, we thought he had passed away in her arms, but he had just lost consciousness. So we thought we got to get him to the nearest animal hospital, which was in Maryville. And we're doing our best to get out of here. And there was a woman who had parked her car, stopped it in the road, gotten out of it, and walked. And I finally had to get out and said, ma'am, I don't mean to be rude. Will you please get your car out of the road? We have an emergency. don't do stuff like that. You could cause, it could be a human, it could be something that somebody has go wrong. Something, you know, you can't hinder people like that. It's just wrong. It's not morally right. So that's why there's rules for a reason. So don't park in the road. And what's some other don'ts? Don't deface. Don't throw trash down, please. Nobody comes here to see your drink bottles or your potato chip bag. So things like that. We want to promote awareness in the park. Don't approach the wildlife. There's a big one.
Oh, that is big.
These bears are not teddy bears. They are bears. I have seen a mother bear here. She didn't physically do anything. If she had, she'd have lost her life. They would have put her down, which is not right, for just protecting her cubs from people who approach too closely. But I did see her. It was up here in front of the John Oliver cabin. I saw her bluff charge, what they call it, a warning to somebody who just decided that those cubs wanted to get a better look. We saw a guy here one year take his little daughter on his shoulder. She couldn't have been more than 2 or 3. There's a bear out in the woods, and he walks out into the woods towards the bear with his daughter. And you can't make this kind of stuff up, folks. I don't like to question people's intelligence, but what else do you do? Don't approach the wildlife. There are no elk here. Let me settle that one. The elk have not made it to Cades Cove yet. This is not the place to come to see elk. This is the place to come and see bear, coyote, turkey, and lots of deer.
Yeah.
The deer population has dwindled a little bit because of the increase of coyote population. But this is the place to see some wildlife. If you want to see elk, you're going to have to go over to North Carolina to Cataloochee and or Cherokee. A lot of people, and sometimes in Bryson City you'll see one. A lot of people already say there's elk in the cove. There have been no pictures of an elk in Cades Cove yet. It's going to happen eventually, in my opinion, but as of yet, it has not. If I see one, I'll put it on video and correct myself, but it hasn't. So anyway, anything else you can think of? Otherwise, we're going to proceed on through the cove and show you some of this beautiful scenery. You say, well, why are you saying all this? Well, for one thing, you know, again, we're allowed to record in the park. We're not allowed to monetize, but at the same time, I want them to understand that not all content creators are abusing the park, which is probably one of the reasons they made this law, is they think that people, we want to tell you to respect it. We want to teach you to enjoy your time here, but, you know, treat it with respect. So, anyway, that's all I got for now, so let's head on through the cove. Now, here is Sparks Lane. This is about 2 miles in. If you have to exit the cove suddenly, this is one way you can do it. That's this little road to the left, cuts back across, and you can come out at the end of the loop road. That cuts the trip significantly shorter. And
it's also a two-way road to where if you make the whole loop
and want to do it again, you can come back across it.
Yes.
So here on the right is the John Oliver cabin. Let me turn the camera around just to, yeah, the sun's a little bit bright. Probably not going to get a good view of that, but we're going to be coming back through. But again, I think this is one of the prettiest places there is anywhere. And we're just kind of trying to keep our eyes open for bear. If you can hit it when the traffic's like this, you have accomplished something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it is not at all bad tonight. There is another way to leave the cove on up. About another 2 miles, it's called Hyatt Lane. That way, if you need to, again, there's 2 ways out if you need to get out suddenly without having to be behind everybody for the whole 11 miles. So you can utilize either one of those. I encourage you, if you're ever here right after a thunderstorm, drive down Hyatt Lane. I promise you it will amaze you, because the mist begins to rise up out of the fields against the mountains, and it's absolutely breathtaking, is it not? When
it's very pretty.
When those clouds begin to form and you see the mountaintops coming out of the tops of them.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Alright, we got some turkey right here. Chancey's going to try to get a picture without approaching wildlife. So we got 2 good-sized tom turkeys there. And we are now what I just called the main overlook. It's probably got a name, but it is the main overlook in Cades Cove, where you just look out over the fields and you see the beautiful mountains in the background. You see Thunderhead Mountain, Spence Field, Russell Field, Rocky Top, up in that area. Just such a beautiful place.
I got my arm out the window here. I can't really see. Crossing the road, yeah. Yeah, and I see it over there.
Okay, so at the halfway point on the right up here is the visitor center, and you can actually walk down past the visitor center and see some of the old farmsteads. You can actually on some days even watch molasses being made out there. They have several. They have a grist mill, several barns. What else?
The Becky Cable House.
Yeah, historic home places.
Yeah.
And there's a little cemetery up here to the left, and there's usually some deer out in it. I'm not making a prediction, but we'll just see. Bunch of turkey. And I do not see a deer tonight. There's usually 5, 6, 7 out there, isn't there?
Yeah, usually there are.
Yeah, just see a bunch of turkey out there. But all right, so now we're on the back side of the cove. This is the much more shaded part. Not quite as many mountain views, but still some. Okay, this is one of the Mindy cantilever barns that actually used to be in Cades Cove. I don't know if there's any others besides this one now or not. But anyway, this is the Tipton plate. Go ahead, put it back on.
I'm gonna go get a picture of these.
Go ahead and put it back on.
I put his hat on.
Okay, so this morning I'm riding open air on the back of the pickup through the cove. It's a little bit cool. So we got Mr. Rovier here wrapped up in a blanket. So right over here is where you get some information. You get your parking passes just back there too. We won't be needing parking passes today, but we will tomorrow because we always take one day and stop and go in all the structures and stuff. So just beautiful view as you enter the cove right here. Took a little detour down Hyatt Lane because I noticed some fog in the valley and I want to get a better look at that. So I don't know if this will be quite like I was talking about yesterday, which after the storm, you know, when the clouds come up from the valleys and you see them below the mountaintops, I don't think it's going to be quite like that, but it should still be pretty nice. So we're going to take a ride down this little dirt road and try to get a better view of that. Saw what we wanted to see there. We're coming back to the main loop road. If you do need to exit the cove early, Hyatt Lane cuts 2 miles off of the total trip, and Sparks Lane, which we've already passed, cuts even more than that. So anyway, this is back at the main loop road now. Looking back at Hyatt Lane where we just came. And here is the Cades Cove Missionary Baptist Church. And there's 3 churches left in the cove. All 3 of them have cemeteries with a lot of history behind them. A few weeks back, or actually a couple of months back, a car caught fire. Somebody had stopped here to look at the church. They came back out and the car was on fire. Some kind of electrical issue, I'm sure. But early morning is a beautiful time to come through Cades Cove, just because of what you're seeing, the fog in the valleys and the sun burning it off. Another example right below Gregory Mall there. Beautiful. Look at that. That's why we love coming here. And a lot of people say they avoid the cove because it's too crowded. That is the case sometimes, but I want you to look at this. I want you to look at that. We have been through here twice now since we arrived yesterday, and we've not had any traffic issues at all. Usually Labor Day weekend we do have some, but not yet. We're kind of able to go through at our own pace, move along quickly when we want to, and pause when we want to. Hold up. Sorry, she's driving. I have to. Hold up. Folks, we just missed the bear cubs. There was a couple little cubs. They went right to the left into the woods, and we just missed them. I'm sorry. Okay, and why did the turkey cross the road? And this one's got a little baby. How many of you have ever seen a baby turkey? Well, it just disappeared in the leaves right there. Looks like a little small baby turkey. In last night's video, same overlook, but Shaughnessy actually was impressed by the way the clouds are casting a shadow on the mountains. It's actually, it looks different every night, or in the morning when you come. It's a totally different view in a way. Again, this is the main overlooking Cades Cove. Just very beautiful. I could pull up a chair and just sit and look at this. Alright, here we go. This is what you don't do. Just pull off, not use a pull off, and just stop right in the road. There evidently is a bear up in there somewhere. They finally pulled over. I don't see it anywhere yet. Folks, we got us our first up-close bear sighting, and I'm in the back of the pickup. Here we go. And folks, I am not out of my vehicle. I'm in the back of the pickup. He's just standing here. Alright, go ahead. Somebody's coming. Good looking bear right there. There he goes. Okay, so that was a very profitable turn down Hyatt Lane right there. Something told me, I said just have her turn down Hyatt Lane, and I was actually coming out here maybe to want to see the sun go down, but right there on our right was a bear, and we had him pretty much all to ourselves. Now, even though I am sitting open there in the back, I did not get out of the vehicle. I did not approach him. We were close. That's where he was standing, right on the side of the road. But I didn't act aggressively toward him, nor did he. So that's the way you do it. So anyway, we don't ever get that close to one. Honestly, we never approach one. But again, he was just literally a couple of feet off the road. So anybody's going to record him under those circumstances. So anyway, I'm kind of glad we turned down Hyatt Lane, because we basically had him to ourselves, and then one other truck came up behind us. So as far as I know, we're the only two vehicles that even got to see that one.
Yeah.
And he was decent size. When he crossed the road, he looked bigger than when I was looking at him straight on.
Did you get any pictures of him?
No, I didn't. I got really good video. I can make a still from that.
I got a picture.
So did you get some? Let's see them. Hold on. Yeah, Chauncey actually got, and this was from, she never got out of the driver's seat.
Yeah, I was in the driver's seat. I just leaned over the passenger side and took it.
That's about as good a shot as a bear as you're going to get. And that's as good a shot as you need to get.
Yeah.
But we were very fortunate to be in that spot at that time, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
He honestly looked to me, it kind of made me feel bad. He looked a little scared. And we did not do anything to him, but he just kind of looked to me like he was a little confused, like he was wanting to cross, but he ultimately did cross. But, you know, we got our video and our picture and went on, didn't bother him.
My purple and yellow flowers, I'll get pictures.
Yeah, Chauncey's been wanting to get some up-close pictures of these purple and yellow flowers here. The Hyatt Lane is just a beautiful little, like I say, if you need to cut your time in the cove short, you can exit that way. But I would encourage you just to take a little extra time and drive down it and go down, turn around, and come back. It's just a pretty little gravel road. It basically just cuts from one side of the cove to the other. And the sun is going to be setting here in just a little bit, so I'm thinking we're probably going to go down and turn around and come back and take in the sunset from right here. Got a couple of deer sitting out here in the field. I thought I saw antlers, but I wasn't sure if it was a bush because it's so dark, but those are in fact deer. Do not know if you're seeing those or not. That one just stood up. I think you can see him now. Okay, we're now getting ready to walk up to our first cabin of the day, the John Oliver cabin. The first thing I noticed is that the fields are really grown up this year. I think the fields were not anywhere near that grown up last year. Doesn't look like they've been mowed at all. So there's two ways you can do it. There is a paved trail, and there's this trail through the woods. We usually take this one going up because I just like the way the cabin comes into view out of the woods, and we'll take the paved open trail coming back down. So here's a little bit of information about the John Oliver cabin. Actually, this is just information about Tells a little bit about the consolidated school, built in 1916. I think Mr. Oliver was here way before 1916. Yeah, they moved here in 1818. Okay. Alright, so beautiful path right here through the woods. Nice and shady and cool. So, no pets, no dogs on the trail, so we leave ours in the vehicle. Lock your vehicle and take all valuables with you. Our pets are kind of valuable, so we got to leave them in there. So, if we take them all with us, then we're breaking the first rule. So, anyway, they're fine in the truck. They're locked up. Okay, we are arriving at the John Oliver cabin, and if you're ever over in Cades Cove when there's a snowfall, walk up through the woods, and when you walk out to this, it is absolutely gorgeous in the snow. I imagine it would be in the fall too. So, here's your yearly reminder to not be a Bob. And we got some Bobs that wanted to show they were Bobs by writing on the sign asking you not to be a Bob. Good stiff fine would put a stop to some of that if you just catch people. And Mr. Oliver and his wife had a really nice view. Don't know how much they actually took time to just sit and enjoy it because they were hard workers, but here's the fireplace. A little something under the stairwell here. It does. You took that picture. Is that the sepia setting?
No, it's actually black and white.
Black and white? Yeah, because they didn't have colors back in 1800. I don't know why everybody thinks that makes it look like it did then. They had color too then. There was trees were still green. The flowers. Yeah, it does look like a picture back then, but it's just that's not how it looked to them back then. Okay, we're walking back down to the truck now from the John Oliver cabin. This is the paved path that goes on the outside of the woods, and just what a beautiful mountain backdrop they had here. But yeah, I'd have to go back and watch last year's video. I don't think the fields were anywhere near this high last year.
I don't think so either.
'Cause I'm thinking we saw deer standing in them. And I understand leaving some of the fields unmowed, it may look better to us when they mow them, but you know, that actually provides a little bit of a shelter for like baby deer from coyote and predators, and it also is a food source, the blackberries and stuff for bears, so it's important they leave some of it. There's some of the blackberries I was talking about that they've left up. They've already produced this year, but I know at home our blackberries come in about June, don't they? So I'm guessing here, about 1,800 feet altitude, be about a week later, 2 weeks later than us. Now, as I told y'all at the beginning of this video, the mountain you see in the far distance with its top still just barely in the clouds, that is Gregory Bald. That is what we did for my birthday hike back in June. And Chauncey don't know it, but we're going to do that again today.
No, we're not.
Why?
I can't do it today.
You did it then. That's just been 2 months ago.
I'm not mentally prepared.
Well.
I'm not physically prepared either.
Yeah, Chauncey's hurt her back. We don't know how, but she's pulled something. So.
Yesterday was a lot worse. Thankfully today it's not as bad, so that's good since we're going to be
then we can hike it then.
Walking around and seeing some of the cabins and stuff.
Yeah. That's a beautiful hike in June. We hit it a little bit before the peak of the azaleas, but there was still plenty of color up there. And here at the end of the trail, this is new, so I'm going to put this on here because it's good information. It tells you the distance of the trail. It's only 0.2 miles if you take the path through the woods, 0.3 if you take the paved one. Gives you the grade, the elevation gain. I really have to question that one. How do you only gain 4.6 feet on the dirt path and 51 feet on the paved path? That makes no sense. Unless I'm just reading that wrong. Okay. So this gate here, we have always heard about a cave you can hike to called Gregory Cave. So we're sure exactly where to get it at. What's the matter?
No, I was just watching traffic.
So Mr. Ledbetter told us yesterday this is the path behind that gate. So we're gonna walk up through here a short ways, see if we can find it. Okay, so some people who were just coming back from the cave told us to not go to the left at the entrance of the cave because there's a yellow jacket's nest. That ain't something either one of us want a part of.
No.
Is your mark still there? Yeah.
No, my arm and stuff had swelled up. I had it here.
She just got hers, what, 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
I've had 2 encounters with them this year while mowing. So I don't want any part of yellow jackets today. So I guess these are goldenrods right here.
I think so.
So we're walking through a pretty good thicket of goldenrods, and should be coming up on the cave pretty quickly. But best way I can tell you if you want to know how to get to Gregory Cave is after you pass the John Oliver cabin, you go a little bit, and then you'll go into the woods. You'll be where it's not open, and you ascend around some curves up a hill, and basically the road.
Watch to your right.
Yeah, watch to your right. Is it at the crest of the hill?
Yes, up at the top of the hill. Watch to your right, and you'll see like.
You'll see the gate closed that I just showed you. So from there, this is the path out to Gregory Cave. Okay, so after they told us to watch for the yellow jackets, they said about another 150 feet. It's probably, I'd say closer to 800 or 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
You start going up the hill a little bit, and I believe we have found the cave. And I'm willing to bet if you went in there in the wintertime, you might find a black bear or two asleep. Because they look for places to bed down. And before somebody comments, I know they don't hibernate all winter here. But they do have long extended periods of sleep. So it's just not a full hibernation. But anyway, I guarantee you they go down in there. I would, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Chauncey's going to, this time, go down into the cave. She's going to tell us if there are bats or snakes or maybe even a bear hanging around down in there. So Chauncey's going to head on down now.
Oh, my God.
Chauncey's going to head on down now.
Where's the yellow jacket? Feels much cooler already, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. All of a sudden, about right here, temperature drops off. Really nice.
Huh.
Can't really see much up in there, but are you going on down? Is this as far as you're going to go?
I think it's as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah. Be a good place to get out of the storm, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright, well, so this is Gregory Cave. We have not been up here before. I've heard about it for a while. We just never taken the time to do it until now. Okay, we found the yellow jacket's nest. We see a couple going into it. It is right, that little hole underneath that rock. Now, Chauncey this time is going to demonstrate how protective yellow jackets are of their nest. So she's going to take a stick, and she's going to go up in there and poke around, and you can actually see them going in there.
Somebody's tied a yellow thing up there on that tree. I guess it's time to warn you.
Okay, yeah, right there if you see that on the tree. And then you go down right below that rock. They're flying in there. They're not aggressive right now because I'm not making any moves to threaten the nest, and I do not intend to. But Chauncey, at this time, show everybody this will be educational, y'all. Get your children in here. Chauncey's going to go poke it with a stick.
Chauncey is not doing anything.
What's the matter? Don't you want a further education?
No, I got educated last week.
Okay, we're here at the Primitive Baptist Church now, and I'm not sure yet, but the reason we drove out here today is because there's sometimes a gentleman in here playing on Sunday mornings. He plays an instrument, and he plays the old hymns. So we're going to see if he's in here today. I know he was last year and several other times we've been here. And he is not. Didn't want to get in your picture there.
You're alright.
I was kind of looking for the guy that plays instruments in here sometimes on Sunday morning. He was here last year, but he's not here today. So.
I haven't been here since I was a teenager.
We've encountered him a few times on Sunday morning, but he's not here today. Alright, we got one coming to the altar now. Oh, no, she's not. She's sitting down.
Ready for the preacher.
Well, I could preach. I'm not sure if it would do you much good, though. So this was the Primitive Baptist Church. Now, the difference between Primitive Baptist and most Baptists is that Primitive Baptists are Calvinists. For the most, I think pretty much all of them are. So that would be the main difference. So Mr. Ledbetter was telling us yesterday that I want to say maybe it was his uncle's wife or his great-grandfather's wife. I can't remember, but somebody that in his ancestry that his wife was passed away in childbirth and is buried here. He could not recall her name though. So they said it was one of the first few graves as you come into this cemetery.
1865. It's pretty good.
I don't even know which. One of the things you notice in these cemeteries that's very sad is the high rate of infant mortality. Sometimes you'll see a family that lost multiple children within just a couple of years of each other. And this is the first cabin that we went up to just a little bit ago. John Oliver and Lorena Oliver. Both born in late 1700s, passed away in the 1800s. There's the actual headstone.
Old rock, like old.
Some of these have been here so long you can't even read the inscriptions any longer. So this one's relatively new grave right here, 2020. And even I guess his wife, 2015. We were here one time when there was actually, I think I may have mentioned this, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video we did here. They were going to have a funeral at the Missionary Baptist Church. We were here over the 4th, I don't know, it might have been Memorial Day. We came Memorial Day weekend one year. And they were going to have a funeral out there, and I remember we were registering, checking our campground, our campsite, and the rangers were talking about, I don't know what the situation was, but they were a little worried there might be trouble at the funeral between the wife and apparently another lady. So they were concerned about how to keep trouble down at the funeral, and it was held at the Missionary Baptist Church. I don't know who the man was or what the goings on was there, but they were concerned that it might not go off without a hitch. You remember me telling you about that?
I do.
Now, we hiked the mountain back in June named after this gentleman here, Russell Gregory.
Yeah.
Now, notice all the coins on the headstones. That has to do, we've seen that a lot, especially in the Methodist Church Cemetery. And
usually military.
It usually has to do with they served in the military. I've never seen them on his grave before. Unless my memory's just bad. I have to go back and look at the video from last year, but I don't remember ever seeing them on Russell Gregory's grave before. But there are several graves in the Methodist Church Cemetery, which we'll be at here in a few minutes, that do have that.
There's Ledbetter. We have a bunch of those in my hometown. A bunch of Ledbetters.
Well, a gentleman just met us yesterday. He took us on a tour through here. He was a Ledbetter, and he was from this area, and a lot of his ancestors lived in the cove.
Cool.
Very
I love
interesting.
That one. Remember me? That's
Yeah.
so nice and simple.
Yeah. So some of these, and he actually did tell us that they used to spell it L-E-A-D.
Yeah, I did.
But he spells his L-E-D. You'll do. So down there is a relatively new grave, just within the last 2 years. September 21st, 2021. Now what a thing to have on your tombstone. And if you know Christ, you can say that. My chains are gone, I've been set free. That's like what the Apostle Paul wrote in Romans about being free from this body of sin and this body of death. And that only happens in Christ. Okay, so pretty much immediately, just a short distance after the Primitive Baptist Church, will be the Methodist Church. There are only 3 churches left standing in the cove. There used to be more. Although he was telling us yesterday about, what was it, Hyatt Hill Baptist Church down Hyatt Lane. We never knew about that, never heard of it. But there are 3. There's a Missionary Baptist, a Methodist, and a Primitive Baptist. So we just saw the Primitive. We're going to do the the Methodist next. May save the Missionary Baptist Church till tonight. When we go back through in the evening, we'll see. Kind of taking a lot of time today. We need to run to Townsend for a little bit. Alright, here we are at the Methodist Church now. And that's really sad, but there are people that make that necessary, unfortunately. There's another little money on top of it. So he served in World War II in Korea. Now there are several in the Methodist Church that I recall seeing that on. Here's another.
They had infants, children that passed away.
This is the one I was referring to earlier when I said you could see where they had lost multiple children. Here are 3. 2 passed the same day, and looks like the other one lived about a little over 6 months. Now, I guess my question here would be, there's change on these. Why would there be change on those? Maybe the family. If it has to do with military, these are all infants.
Yeah. People may not know, just put change there too.
Could be, or maybe their parent or his dad or something, or their dad. Not sure about that. I always pause at this one. This is the Schuler family section. We did not know them, but this Dan Schuler over here, he passed away back in 2004, and that year we were up here Memorial Day weekend, and that's the year he was killed, and the same time he was killed or passed. I don't know if he was killed or if it might have been. I think I looked it up. Maybe it was a car accident. I'd have to look that up again, but anyway, he passed away while we were actually in Cades Cove.
There actually used to be the little picture there in that oval area.
But yeah, I don't know if it's gone or if it's just faded where you can't see it, but there was a picture of him. But I want to say I looked it up, and I want to say he was maybe killed in an accident. He was only 20 years old. Okay, Shaughnessy was just asking me to try to read, since I read far away pretty well, these little footstones to see if they are scripture. I know the first one is a reference in Genesis. I cannot read the other ones, and I can't go past the chain here to find out. So I'm going to try to zoom up on those. Don't know if those are readable or not. I'm on maximum zoom now. Usually the quality significantly goes down when you zoom up all the way. So maybe once I watch this, I'll be able to tell. And there is a shot, if you ever exit the cove on the Rich Mountain Road, which is currently closed because of a bear incident, if you ever exit the cove on that road, it's actually up there by the Missionary Baptist Church. You'll see the sign to the right of the church. It's a dirt road. It says 5 miles back to town. It seems a lot further. But there is one overlook, open area on that road. I can't see it from down here, but it looks back down on the Methodist Church here.
It's a nice view.
It is, especially in the fall when the leaves are at peak. You'll see it on postcards. If you ever see a postcard in the Smokies of that little white church right there with fall leaves around it, that is taken from Rich Mountain. I don't see the open area. It's going to be somewhere on that ridge out there. And Arthur Randolph Shields, as I think I pointed out before, he is author of a book that I have, the Cades Cove story. And as of yesterday, I now have a second book on the history of Cades Cove. It's called Cades Cove the Way It Was. And that's the one that Mr. Ledbetter brought to us and gave to us. I told him, I said, I hate to take your book. He said, it's all right, I already know everything in that book. So,
and he does.
He does, yeah. He would tell her to back seat, he says, all right, now next in your book should be this.
Yeah.
And most of the time he was right.
Yes.
But he wanted us to have that, and we're very appreciative.
We got it with us this morning too as we're going.
Yes, we do. Actually, maybe, okay, I think I do see, it's not on the ridge, it's like halfway up the ridge. I can see the road going up through there.
You can see it?
I think so. If you see on that ridge there about halfway up, there's like a cluster of dead trees, or bare trees, if you can see.
I see bare, yeah.
Okay, well look, going to the right and left of those trees, it looks like there's a road going up through there.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
So I'd say that's it. That's probably where it's shot from. By the way, again, we're making this video because our viewers wanted us to. We are not going to monetize it or link it to any other videos that are, but let me just go ahead and dispel a notion right now. You can record in here. In fact, when we were at the Oliver cabin, I was walking around recording right in front of a ranger. They did not say a word, saw me. It's not that you can't record. It's just for people who are YouTubers. I guess there's always a few that abuse it, so they have to pass rules. I don't know. But anyway, it is what it is until it changes.
Are they mates or siblings? Well, they are related. They're half sisters and they're also first cousins. But this one's 17, that one's 3. But I work them as a team. Nice better my wife though. Nice thing about it, you go back to all, you're not mad about it. Some mom's wife, you know what the wife is? She said if you like it, you know, why don't you go to this club? I said, well, I would, but they're just not very good keeping partners. Oh. That one over there.
Alright, now this building here usually provides a view of some snakes in behind that door. Last year there was a water snake right out in the middle of the thing, and the guy came and removed it. Check out the video last year, and told everybody it was a copperhead. It was not. He misidentified it. It was a northern water snake, but usually you have to kind of poke your head behind that door to see, so I'm going to do that. Well, no snakes. That was disappointing. It's really a rare trip that we come here and don't see a snake behind that door there.
Yeah,
So nothing this year. Now, Mr. Ledbetter was telling us yesterday this is not the original location of the Becky Cable house. And that's something else we did not know. We just always assumed this was it. I think it was down Forge Creek Road a little bit, not far from here, but
yeah.
rather than just showing you the home of Becky Cable, we wanted to give you a little bit of extra information about this remarkable woman that we learned upon further research. It seems that she never married and became known around the Cove as Aunt Becky. She was born in 1844 and was known to be tough as nails, performing tasks that usually only men did. It was said that she could work alongside any man. In fact, she was also known to plow her fields barefooted, and one time stepped on a sleeping rattlesnake. Since the rattlesnake did not bite her, she looked at the snake and said, "Since you did not hurt me, fella, I don't guess I will hurt you either." She was also known as being an exceptionally good cook, known for her special apple pies that she made with biscuit dough. Also, when she thought that her death was imminent due to a serious illness, she summoned the local casket maker to make a casket out of yellow poplar wood for her burial. She actually recovered and lived many more years after that and died at the age of 96. After her death, her home was removed from the original location to the current location where it stands now, just below the Cades Cove Visitor Center. So back in behind here are some barns and such, a little shady creek right here. These old millstones right here. Here's another cantilever barn. There's one out at the Tipton place. I don't know of any other cantilever barns still. I don't remember if the Elijah Oliver cabin had one or not. It's a little bit off the main road, so we did go out there last year. It was raining, so I don't remember. It started to rain. I don't remember taking a lot of time to explore that, but at least two of those cantilever barns in the cove still. Okay, now right up here past the Dan Lawson place, which is right here, we are going to pull off and we're going to try to find that cemetery that Mr. Ledbetter told us about yesterday. I don't remember what he told us about the cemetery, just that it was one we didn't know about before, but basically the little pull-off for that is right here across from what they call the tree. I think you can figure out what they call that, the tree, but that's the nickname of it here in the cove. So we're going to pull into this little pull-off right here, and we're going to see if we can find that cemetery. Alright, so back over there's the Lawson place. There's a little opening in the fence here and a little path, so we're going to see if we can find the little cemetery. The way he talked, it was not very far. He even said he saw one of the headstones through the woods. I didn't see it, but he says he did. He also knew where to look. So, okay, so the path does take a turn to the left, and we do see the cemetery. And just a little clearing right here. To be honest with you, we've driven by this on the loop road 150 times probably. How many times have we been through Cades Cove?
Oh, yeah, at least.
And never ever would have known this was here, if not for our tour guide yesterday. I think I said LaQuire. I think the LaQuire Cemetery is the one down around that tree. There's a fence around it. But I know he told us, maybe Luke, if you watch this video, leave it in the comment. The infant.
How old?
$1920. It does not look like, unlike some of the other church cemeteries in Cades Cove, it does not look like there have been any recent burials up here. In fact, that's pretty much the newest one that I see, 1920, over 100 years ago. Yeah, some of these are so old you can barely read them.
Would this be Abbott?
That, you know, I saw a couple of Abbotts, so that could be their family trying to stay back off of the grave. Yeah. Young lady, 23 years old right here. I'm sorry, maybe I misread that. No, that does say 1931. Now, here's what's interesting here. Again, I'm only speculating, I don't know. Well, no, that wouldn't be right. I started to say maybe she passed away in childbirth, because she passed away just a few weeks after, but this little girl was almost 2 years old too. So that wouldn't have been a childbirth, but this death here, March 2nd of 1931, of a little girl. Then April 4th, just a little over a month later, of a 23-year-old. It does make me wonder if that was a mom. Maybe she was just grieving the loss of her child so much. I don't know. I'd like to know the stories behind a lot of these. Lawson. I wonder if that's Dan Lawson, whose house we're near. No, that is Mary Lawson. I don't know what his wife's name would have been, but I think that's a little bit late to be Dan Lawson's wife.
Here's D.B. Lawson, born 1827, died April 1st, 1905.
That's possible. I'd have to see what his middle name was, but that would be about the right time frame.
And then Mary Cable, wife of D.B. Lawson. So that was his wife.
That's something to research. I think I've got just the 2 books to find that information in. Yeah, would never have known. Down there through the woods is the loop road that we've been by many times. Never had any idea there was a cemetery up here. So it's very possible, if he happened to be looking through here yesterday, and that little opening, he could have very well seen these headstones right here. He did. He said he saw a headstone, so I'd say right there is where he saw it from. And folks, honestly, I keep talking about Mr. Ledbetter, but I can't say it enough how it just fell into place for us to know about this. I would say most of the other YouTube channels that come through here do not know about this cemetery. We did not until yesterday, and it just so happens that he likes to watch us. Now, I know he watches some of the others, but he likes to watch us, and he actually commented, was it Friday night, Thursday night, on one of our posts that said he was going to come over Saturday to meet us. He drove over from where he lives about 20 some miles away and came to our campsite just to meet us. So that was an honor in and of itself. And when he just began, he brought the honey, he brought the grape jelly, and he brought some tomatoes, he brought the book. Just listening to him talk, he was pointing out up on this ridge up here, that was my grandpa's land. In fact, Ledbetter Ridge, there's a nature walk at the back of the campground. You've walked it how many times? I've walked it with you before.
Every year I walk it.
And we didn't realize that was called Ledbetter Ridge, and he said that was actually never, he was told by his father that was never deeded to the national park, even though it's within the national park boundaries. So he said he wasn't sure if that was true, but that's what his dad told him, named after his family. So when I was just listening to this man talk, I said, you know what, I just kind of threw it out there. I said, I'd like to pay you some money to be a tour guide and take us through the cove. He says, I'll go through there with you. And he wouldn't let us pay him, so I already told y'all that. But
it's very enjoyable.
If he had not liked our channel, there's a lot that we'd be driving through here today not knowing. So
we're seeing a lot of extra neat stuff.
We are. We're seeing stuff that you're probably not going to see anywhere else, I'm guessing. I'm not saying for sure, but as far as I know, I never knew about it. So, and I believe me, I've been coming to this area a long time and thought I knew something. I realized yesterday how little I know about Cades Cove. Because we'd ride through here and I would say, now, I can name mountains that you can spot. I can tell you how high they are. I can tell you, I thought I was a Cades Cove expert, and I'm
but someone that grew up in this area, that had family in this area.
I was the student and he was the teacher yesterday, so I was glad to sit and listen to him talk. But yeah, this cemetery behind us, I would have gone through my whole life never knowing that was there, if not for him. So we're very appreciative of that.
Yep,
so.
absolutely.
All right, so we're going to head back down now. Folks, as y'all know, we have 2 Yorkies. One we've had 14 years. He never panics. He knows we're coming back. We have one that still hasn't gotten over anytime we leave for a few minutes. He goes crazy. Truck is running. They're in there with air conditioning. It's about 65 degrees in the truck. Not a care in the world.
Except we're not in there.
Also worth pointing out that open field down there that you see mowed, there's a little circular spot at the end. That is actually one of the 2 places in Cades Cove where you can have a permit and get married. You can have weddings there. I heard there was a wedding yesterday. But if you look at that little path they keep mowed down there in that little circular area, it's a good place to get married right there. I'm not sure there's another one somewhere. I'm not sure where.
Isn't it over there by the overlook?
I don't think it's at the main overlook. It may be. Maybe somebody else knows the answer to that, but I know there's 2. But this is the second one on the back side of the cove, a little bit past the Dan Lawson place. Now if you see that tree down there in the field, there's actually a fence around it, and I believe that is the LaQuire Cemetery, the LaQuire family. So, and I know yesterday Mr. Ledbetter was also telling us that on out there's a path out in the edge of the woods that you can go to the cemetery where I think he said his grandfather is buried, but there's 2 ways to it. He also showed us another access to it up here. So,
except the road that basically used to go out that way comes down.
Yeah, and comes back out down here. All right, now we're here at the Missionary Baptist Church, the last church in the cove. This is our nighttime or evening trip through here. It's a little dark. It's going to be just after sunset, not too long from now. So, but all 3 of the churches here are very similar in the way they're set up. You can kind of see where the stove used to be. And again, just like the other 2 churches, there's people that leave their mark on it. And they've had to install security cameras outside of this one now too. Like I was saying, a couple of months back, someone's car actually caught fire while they were here. There were pictures and everything. You can still kind of see the black mark in the parking lot where it was. When we came up here for the hike, you could really see it. It's faded a little bit now, but what was it, that second parking space there? Here is basically a young man who basically 50 years old, passed away, it looks like 11 days after his birthday, and he's not been here for too long, just almost 2 years now. Well, folks, our last night going through here. This is Sunday night, and this is about as bad as we've seen the traffic yet. It has been pretty much stop and go a little bit, then stop some more. Back before we got to the Missionary Baptist Church, we're almost up here at the main overlook now, and it's still, don't know what the holdup is. Usually in a bear jam, you'll just sit still for a while. It's just kind of inching along. But anyway, this is what it's looking like right now. Traffic, the other previous trips, it was a little bit thick this morning, but when we got here Friday and Saturday, wasn't too bad. But it's really picked up. Well, last night was pretty heavy, and then it was Saturday night, and then today has been pretty heavy. My advice, if you're going to go to Cades Cove, is definitely go, but if you're up here for a week, come on a weekday, and I don't think you're going to have any problems. Try to come pretty early. I think you'll probably have the best success coming early in the morning. Even late evening it can get a little crowded, but still weekday I don't think you're going to have too much trouble no matter when you come. But once you get into the weekends, it becomes a very popular place to come, a very crowded place. And for good reason, it's very scenic. Okay, so I'm noticing that white pickup. There's 3 vehicles in front of us with the little girls in the back. They are from Minnesota, my wife's home state. She's sitting in the back, so I don't know if she's even, I doubt she's spotted it. She's kind of got her back. You can see her in the mirror there. She's actually kind of looking backwards. She said that gives her a unique perspective. But anyway, got a vehicle up there from her home state of Minnesota. It's one thing you can do while you're sitting here is just kind of look at license plates and see where people are from. So we've got Ohio in front of us, Tennessee, Minnesota, and Florida directly in front of them. And there is a Tennessee tag with a Florida Gator sticker in the back windshield. That's totally unacceptable. If you was from Florida, I could understand that. But maybe they are from Florida and just live here. Incidentally, Florida lost to Utah in their opener, and Tennessee beat Virginia in their opener, so both games turned out the way I would have hoped. So the sun, I don't know if it has set yet. It's about 7:34, probably has, but it's starting to cast a little bit of orange on the clouds. Looks like Thunderhead Mountain is in the clouds. And for a little perspective of the traffic, that's back behind us. As you can see, no end in sight. I don't know if all this traffic was over that one deer or not. I would certainly hope not. It doesn't appear to be because it's still stopping. I got a little guy looking at me up here. He's been looking back at me and laughing at me. He's beating his green cup on the carb. Uh-oh, he was beating that green cup and another arm reached out and grabbed it from him, so now he's pitching a fit. Yeah, he's been looking back here at me and smiling. I guess he's going to be doing that now. Oh well. And it's going to be well past dark by the time we get out of here because traffic is just not moving at all. So look at that orange glow now on the mountains. Just after the sun sets, kind of just casting a glow back on the mountains. Very pretty to look at. I know I'm recording the same mountains over and over, but it just seems like the scene changes every few minutes. Plus, just kind of sitting here, barely moving at times, so might as well take in the beauty. Well, folks, frustrations are starting to boil over now. Somebody started blowing their horn because, quite honestly, I don't know if you can see this through the woods. I showed you what it looked like behind us. This is probably a good 3/4 of a mile ahead of us. This is around the curve to the left and down the hill. Don't know if you can see that, but it is still stopped at least 1/4 to a half mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile ahead of us. There's still traffic stopped. We're just inching along. And I just heard a loud horn blow. I think people are getting a little tired of it. I guarantee you, me and that guy ain't the only ones. I haven't blown my horn, but I tell you folks, I no longer believe this is a bear jam because no bear is going to stay in one place for this long. This has been going on since before the Missionary Baptist Church. You can see the traffic down there. And it has not. We'll have little spurts like this where we'll move a little bit and then it's just back to a stop again. I've been in a lot of traffic jams here, but this is the worst I've ever seen it. Now what's interesting is I see a white pickup down there and looks like ahead of him it's pretty clear. So we might have just found the cause of all this. And if it is him, he's got about 2 miles of traffic behind him. At least 2 miles or more. I don't know how far back it goes, to be honest with you. And quite honestly, it's going to be dark very soon. I don't know what there still is to see that anybody would just inch along like that, but there are people getting out of their cars and walking to see what's going on. That's the downside of Cades Cove, and this is the first time we've been through 7 times now since we arrived Friday. Or 6, let's see. Yes, 6 times. This is the first time we've had anything like this. You see it down there. And who knows how long it goes for. Probably the rest of the way. And we're not even at the halfway point yet. So it's going to definitely be dark by the time we get back to the campsite. It's 8 o'clock now. I think when I last gave you the time, that was, I think I said about 7:34. Because I was wondering if the sun had already set. You couldn't see it. You could just see the kind of glow it was casting. So that's been almost half hour ago. And we've probably not come half a mile to a mile. in half an hour. So whatever's causing this, I don't believe this is, usually this is typical of a bear jam. The bear will move and it'll clear right up, but unfortunately I guess there's no rangers on duty this time of night. Usually when there's a bear jam, the rangers somehow get out there pretty quick. We were trying to figure out yesterday how the rangers always manage to get to where the activity's at. They must have some kind of little access road somewhere. But anyway, I guess most of the rangers are off duty, so people are just, you know, doing what they want. There are signs clearly posted that say, be courteous, no stopping in the road, use pull-offs. And we've seen people stop in the road right beside of a pull-off that's empty and not even pull into it. But it is what it is. And I guess one of the things about it, that this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, is that people will say things like, well, just be prepared for traffic if you come to the Cove. Well, yeah, of course, it's a popular place, but there are rules in place for a reason. And one of those rules is so that everybody has an enjoyable trip, regardless of what their schedule is. And it's just respect for other people that you don't stop in the road and hold up traffic. You use one of the many, many pull-offs that are available, and there are plenty of them. But a lot of people will just say, well, if you're in a hurry, don't come to Cades Cove. But, you know, look at that line of traffic. And let's just say someone who has a heart problem begins to have a heart attack or a medical emergency. There's no cell service here. You don't get a call out. So you tell me how a person like that can be rushed to the hospital when this is a one-way loop road. Like I said, we had a medical emergency. It was for our pet in 2017, but it could just as easily have been for a human. What do you do in a case like this? This is why you don't stop in the road. This is why you don't be that person that holds up traffic. And I'm not trying to complain. I'm just trying to make an appeal to anybody who watches this. We do have some viewers now. When you come here, please observe the rules. This is why right here. I'm going to estimate this trip through the Cove will probably take us close to 3 hours to complete, and it's 11 miles. That's way more than any other trip through here has taken us, unless we stop and see some of the cabins and churches like we did this morning. But just to be sitting in traffic. And again, like right here's a pull-off beside of us. There are plenty of these all along the roadway. There are wide spots in the road where you can pull to the side if there's something you want to see without doing this. So even right here, a little gravel pull-off, a car could pull off right there if they want to stop and see something. It's just, they're all through here. So my advice if you're coming to Cades Cove is go to the bathroom before you start, because if you're needing to get to the bathroom right here, you're in tough shape. And some people have a hard time even with that. They have frequency in that regard, and they can't hold it. And what other option do they have right here besides, you know, to go make one somewhere? But that's what the rules are about. It's all about respect for others and for the Cove itself. Okay, all the shadows from the sun are gone, and darkness is ascending pretty quickly on the Cove now. Just what a place of beauty, though. I think everybody should, who comes to the Smokies, should come through here and see it if you have time. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just pick your times if you can. That hopefully you won't have to. I wouldn't have thought a Sunday night would have been this bad. Probably most Sunday nights are not, but with it being Labor Day weekend, I guess a lot of people are staying overnight and heading home tomorrow. But normally I would think a Sunday night, if it's not a holiday weekend, would be a good time to come. Okay, finally getting around and coming up on the Dan Lawson cabin. Still a lot of traffic. It's moving a little better, I guess, now that it's dark. There's nothing to see, so people are going to move now, but it is all but dark now. Still see the mountains just a little bit once we come out of the woods, but Right now we're at the other side of Hyatt Lane. This is where we turned last night and saw the bear. Just a couple hundred yards down that road. But darkness is falling. Alright, so it is now pretty much dark. I was hoping to see the Dan Lawson cabin in the daytime again. This is a cabin with an upstairs. So I'm going to prove that we are not afraid to go into these cabins at nighttime. No reason to be. So we're going to walk right in here. Alright, I'm good. Let's leave. You're not coming? Okay, so no, you can't see anything. There are actually steps right here. Get your phone for a light. Shine your light right here. There are actually, well, I'll show you here in a minute. There we go. There's a flight of steps right here where you can go up here. And this was like, I guess, an upstairs bedroom. So, alright, shine it down so I don't fall. I never noticed this little thing here before.
Yeah, they got like an outside from the porch.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Wish it was not dark when I'm trying to show you all this, but we got here as quick as we could. So, Shauncey's been in the back the whole time. What was your perspective sitting in all that traffic?
Well, I mean, honestly, when you're sitting back there and you're facing the opposite way the traffic goes, you got a whole bigger expanse to see things. It's just frustrating when you're just not moving. But
Yeah.
I got to watch the mountains change color.
Yeah, they did that. I was trying to feature some of that. They've gone from green to orange to black in the time we've been going through here. So, alright folks, I'm going to do one final little clip here. There's not going to be much left to see after that. You can just barely see the silhouette of Rich Mountain out there in the distance. So we hope you've enjoyed this video of our drive through Cades Cove. We tried to bring you a couple of things that we haven't brought you before in last year's video. So we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thank you for watching and have a blessed day.